Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video, and this is a paid request for Ryan. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, movie reviews, re-reviews, random thought streams, commentaries, tier lists, rankings, video game playthroughs, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. I do have a CashApp as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. And for those who sent them, thank you. I do appreciate it. And Ryan wanted me to look at Animaniacs, episode 2 of season 1. So the second episode. Animaniacs is a show that I have heard of. I've seen the first episode, of course. I believe that review is still up on the channel. And it was from 1993 to 1998 that this show was on, and it definitely feels like a pretty fun, clever show. It introduced the characters Pinky and the Brain, which actually in this episode is the first time we see them, which actually got their own spin-off show that was fairly successful too. It got, I think, over 60 episodes. And one thing that always stuck with me from the show is "Hello, Nurse." One of the things that the characters say from time to time. And much like Tiny Toons, I know this one was produced and kind of led by Steven Spielberg in terms of letting the people do what they can, but his name definitely helped shepherd the show as much as he could. And episode 2, it was pretty easy viewing. Maybe to the point that there's not a whole lot to talk about. It's pretty self-explanatory. They kind of... Yakko's world. Because the episode will have 3 or so little segments in between, to make it a whole episode. So one segment is Yakko's world, like I said, where he, in the tune of the Hap dance, he's just saying all of the nations and where everything's at. Russia, Iran. I bet he knows where Iran's at on the map, unlike some people on the internet. And yeah, if you want to, it's a different way of giving some education to someone. You want to sit a kid down, show them the map and where places are, but do it in an entertaining way. There's a way to do it. Doing this song rhythm, and Yakko's voiced by Rob Paulson, very good voice actor, and he has a bit of energy and a good vibe to him. I'm sure if a kid watches a few times, he can learn a thing or two about where certain places are at. I should mention with the 3 main characters, they are loosely based on the Marx Brothers, among other stuff, other characters. So yeah, Yakko is voiced by Rob Paulson, who voiced Raphael in the 80s Ninja Turtles cartoon, Donatello in the 2012 Ninja Turtles cartoon. He voiced tons of characters throughout the years of being in the business. The other guy, Wacko, is voiced by, I forget his name, but he's trying to sound a little bit like one of the Beatles. How's it go? He's trying to sound like one of them. And then you have a female, Dot. Representation there. But yeah. Like I say, I'm stumbling through this because it's pretty self-explanatory. It's fun for what it needed to be. Pretty brief. The second part is Cookies for Einstein, which is the 3 of them visiting in Switzerland, wanting to sell their cookies. Einstein doesn't want them because he's busy trying to solve, he says, the theory of relativity, but I don't think what they describe as the theory of relativity. I think it's for something else. Like E equals mc squared. I don't think that's the theory of relativity. Now I'm questioning myself because that's what they said. I think it's the theory for, isn't it? Because they say it's for relativity, but I don't think that's what it is. But them saying it now has me. Yeah, mass energy equivalence. Energy and mass are not separate entities, but different forms of the same thing. Yeah, because I remember growing up, people kept assuming that was the theory of relativity. It's like, no, 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 that's not what he's. That's a different theory. This is. So they, like others were saying, they thought that was the theory of relativity. No, no, that's not what Einstein was saying. That's a different theory. This is for the mass energy equivalence. But eventually they try to get him to buy the cookies. He doesn't want to. He tries to get him out. They trick him into leaving the house himself. He has to get back into his house. And he's going crazy. He's trying to solve this theory, and they won't leave him alone. So they do this song and dance of Acme, ACME, and then the song they do backwards, EMCA. And they write it backwards, and they show how they do it backwards. Man, you always make your A's look like twos. And then Einstein looks at it, he puts like the equal signs, like, oh my god. I will say that was kind of a clever idea that Acme, which is a thing in Looney Tunes, of course. I mean, they're finally releasing that film Coyote versus Acme. Very cool that's finally getting released. That trailer came up. I didn't mind the trailer for what it was. And glad that did not disappear. Warner Bros. Tried to throw that in the garbage, so I'm glad that's going to be reality now. But yeah, you look at Acme, yeah, backwards is kind of E equals MC squared. So I thought that was kind of clever. Whoever thought of that is like, oh, let's stick to that and then put Einstein into it. So a fun little bit there. And Einstein and the three Animaniacs, they get the Nobel Prize. And the third segment is Win Big, which is the first time we see Pinky and the Brain. The Pinky and the Brain, the Pinky and the Brain. One is a genius, the other's insane. I still remember, I don't know if it was my aunt sending us tapes or if it was maybe when we finally got cable and these were in reruns. But I do remember that popping up and remembering that song and knowing about those characters. I probably knew about those characters before I knew about the Animaniacs. Because like I said, Pinky and the Brain did have their own spin-off show. And, I mean, it's pretty simple concept. The two lab mice. One is, what was the actor's name? Marchand? Who is the voice of Pinky and Pinky and the Brain?
Rob Paulson voices Pinky.
Oh, I meant the Brain. Yeah, I knew Rob Paulson. Damn it, I meant to say the Brain. Now I'm brainless. Who voiced the Brain in Pinky and the Brain? I wanted to get his voice. Maurice LaMarche. Maurice LaMarche, that's it. Who has a little bit like an Orson Welles impression that he's doing. So him and Rob Paulson, who's Pinky. Which he acts dumb. A lot of times he has this kind of dumb appearance. But then when you actually listen to him, he'll say some smart things. And it's one of those things sometimes I remember if Brain had listened to Pinky, they probably would have been more successful in their ventures. What are we going to do tomorrow, Brain? What are we going to do today, Brain? The same thing we always do, Pinky. Find a way to rule the world. Try to take over the world, is the way they phrase it. Try to take over the world. So that's pretty much every episode. Then things screw up. Here, Brain needs a certain part for this machine, but they don't have the money for it. So I guess, I'm like, so they don't want to steal it? But no, I guess they don't actually try to buy it. And then there's like a parody of Jeopardy. And Pinky's like, why don't you go on that? Brain's like, yes, I'm smart enough. I'll know all the answers. So Pinky asks some questions. And one of them he asks is, who said, pow, zoom, Brian the Kisser? Oh, I don't need to know. And then Pinky even tells him the name. It's Ralph Cramden, the Honeymooners. Now, predictably, I knew that was going to be the question that they asked. So lo and behold, Brain gets on Jeopardy. He does very, very well. He gets the last question, double or nothing. That's the question that pops up. He didn't listen to Pinky, so he loses everything. And then we'll try tomorrow to take over the world. He lost on Jeopardy, baby. Ooh. Cue the Weird Al Yankovic song. He lost on Jeopardy, baby. So it was cool to see a Pinky and the Brain episode, because like it's been a long time since I've seen one of those episodes, and that was fun to watch. That was fun to witness. I did a kick out of that. A lot of fun. Definitely missed that show. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say I miss it, but like I say, it was nostalgic to see that again. And yeah, I don't really have much issues. It was very easy to watch. It went by very, very quick, the 20-some minutes. Again, the first one, it's educational. It's showing the nations in an entertaining way. And just with how catchy the song and how energetic tone of voice Rob Paulsen had. You know. I don't know how the hell Rob Paulsen got all that out of his mouth in terms of just how quickly he had to say all those damn nations. Some of them a bit hard to pronounce, at least to me. But just to say in such a... Like how quick and fast you have to say some of these fucking lines, man. I'd be easily tongue-tied with that. So, kudos to him. And Einstein is cute. How they used the Acme and how they became E to MC Stewart. So I thought, again, cute segment. And Pinky the Brain was fun. It was fun because just to hear those characters again, the Orson Welles impersonation for Brain, and how Pinky, it was jovial and hey. Likes to say Narf. Was it Narf? Narf. The kind of like, not schism, but like tick that Pinky has. I need just nostalgia to see those characters again. After, I can't tell you the last time I saw one of those episodes. I honestly would not remember a single episode. It's been so long. But I remember the characters. So it was fun. It was fun. And yeah, while Animaniacs only lasted a couple years, it's definitely one of those shows that you bring up and go, oh, like it light people's eyes light up. They go, oh, I remember that. So it may not have had the longest lifespan, but it definitely put a stamp on things. And yeah, nowadays you never hear Animaniacs brought up. It's not like they're making movies or new shows about them and such. Well, actually, I think they tried. Could be wrong. I think they did try to bring it back at some point. I think. Don't quote me on it. I believe so. I don't know if it did much though, sadly. But it's one of those things that people go, oh yeah, I remember that. There's definitely a fondness for certain people of the show, which is understandable. Because it's fun, it's goofy, it's jovial, and well, it went by at a fast pace, so can't complain. with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. Thanks once again, Ryan. And we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye for now.